Hey guys, and welcome to yet another badass scrap. I'm a rubber duck of war, but I'm not playing today. Instead, we have P is stored in the balls, which is, I guess, a very scientific name on the left-hand side, representing XMT and the Wood Elves, up against 9283546107325546. And the Greenskin Legions. Should be a good fun scrap now. Wood Elves up against Greenskins. It's been a bit of a notorious matchup for quite some time. I remember this being a matchup that got played over and over and over again in the Warhammer World Championships. Both people relatively happy to bring these factions into one another, and it is one of those rare factions where I think you can get away with some pretty wild tactics on both sides. Now, up in the skies for the forces of the Wood Elves, it looks like, I believe this is its current year, by the way, the guy of this name, who's also a fantastic YouTuber. You should definitely check him out. I'll have to double check that is him, but he knows what the ladies like, and the ladies like double forest dragons. It's been confirmed throughout history. Men have done many a study on how to make people happy, and the answer is always two gigantic dragons. So we have double frost dragon, and there the Spellweaver is rather happy of high magic, coming in now with a, looks like Apotheosis, Hand of Glory, and Soul Quench, a decent set of tools, but also going to be able to make these dragons invisible with Loic's Blessing, and make them invisible quite often with the Channeling Staff. In the front line, we have Eternal Guard dotted all the way along, which is good to see, backed up by a couple of units of Dryads and the War Dancers. War Dancers, such an awesome unit. They flip, they twirl, they slice, they dice. They do basically all the killing that their hearts desire, and their hearts desire a lot of blood. We have triple Glade Riders moving forward. These guys are not Hagbane tips, just basic Glade Riders, one of which has Hagbane tips in the middle. Decent counter skirmishing tool up against the Greenskin Notorious Skirmish. And speaking of the Greenskin Notorious Skirmish, we have some triple Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, one of which is the Death Creepers, the regiment renowned with that regeneration. We have double Orc Boys, one of which is an Orc Boy Biggin on the left-hand side, and it looks like same on the right-hand side, mirroring each other there a little bit. In the main battle line, we do have some Gobbos mixed in with some Orc Biggins, and it looks like that's going to be kind of the case all the way along the battle line. Orc Biggins, Gobbos, and the regiment renowned 8-peak Loonies. Down on the ground in the back, protected by a unit of goblins, we do have the Doom Diver Catapult, relatively decent at actually taking down enemy flyers. In general, Doom Diver Catapults can be pretty good up against Wood Elves. I would even recommend sometimes testing it out and bringing something like 3 Doom Diver Catapults. They can do some really awesome work. And up in the skies, we have Azag the Slaughterer, a relatively decent counter to the Sisters of Twilight, I would assume, due to his ridiculously fast speed, his Spirit Leech, and his Fate of Buna powers here. He's going to be rather naughty, but he's up against double Forest Dragon plus the Spellweaver in the sky. That's quite a lot of pressure. Doom Diver Catapult does unleash its first salvo of Gobbos into the world, and the Glade Riders unfortunately do lose 5 models, but I guess the Goblins launch like 3 Goblins into the air, so not a terrible trade at the end of the day. A lot of arrows are being loosed now into the Forest Goblin Spider Eyes, looking to focus fire them down as quickly as possible and gain that map control. In come the Goblos, diving in gloriously, and kaboom! Hitting the Glade Riders. We're also actually getting a Spirit Leech going down on the Hagbane tips, trying to whittle them down and allow the Greenskin Skirmish to trade a little bit more effectively, because they're kind of losing this fight right now up against the Glade Riders. On the left-hand side, the Orc Boar Boys, as well as the Biggins, still going to be wrapping around. There's no back line to really get into and harass, but rear attacking the enemy is always a good idea. So if you can get them into a nice, juicy position to start with, when the front lines eventually do start to go to war against each other, you can then slam in. It looks like the Glade Riders have been allowed to push forward onto the Doom Diver Catapult. Really good target priority coming in by the Wood Elf player, plus a Soul Quench coming in. Everything aiming at this Doom Diver Catapult. One of the catapults has in fact exploded, and it looks like the Doom Diver may indeed be going down. This is not a kind of unnecessary damage. The Greenskins need to be forcing the army way more forward than this, driving back the Glade Riders to allow the Doom Diver Catapult to kind of prosper. Skirmish Cav is moving back over here. We do get a Loic's Blessing going down on the Glade Riders, as well as the Forest Dragons. They currently have Stalk and Unspottable, and that extra speed to hopefully enable them to catch Azag the Slaughterer, and they are going in. They're trying to chase him down, and it looks like they are actually going to be able to catch him, and this is a really bad fight for Azag. Now, Azag's a really solid duelist, mainly due to the fact he comes with that poison, but he cannot take on Double Dragon. Doom Diver Catapult does manage to survive yet another Soul Quench, and it looks like they still have 2 artillery pieces, so not bad whatsoever. Azag is going to pull back and avoid the Double Dragon. In the back, the Orc Boar Boys and Biggins are finally in position, and the Wood Elves simply going to back up at this stage. No real point to engage the front line on the Greenskin terms. Simply move back and help protect your own back line, because we're still shooting with the Glade Riders, poking down the enemy and saving up some lovely breath attacks, and no doubt some more Soul Quenches, now that the Greenskins have kind of lost the range war here. I mean, the Doom Diver Catapult's still alive, but it's very weak at the moment. Skirmish Cav's getting some nice work done, though, focusing down at the Dragon as well as the Spellweaver. Pretty good targets in general for these bad boys. A lovely breath attack goes down the line on the regiment of renowned Night Goblins, eviscerating 50 of them. Look at the corpses on the ground. You shall be gone and forgotten, I'm afraid. No one's going to remember you here in the middle of the desert. Another Soul Quencher is going to go in. This is the third Soul Quench in, and it does indeed take out yet another Doom Diver Catapult artillery piece. Still has one, though, and they've picked quite a lot of resources in trying to take that bad boy out. Greenskins have had enough of this. They're going to be advancing. The Dragons have split as well, so Azag may be bold enough here to try to take on one of the Dragons, at least one-on-one. And in come the lads. The Night Goblins move in. The Orc Biggins move in. We're actually going to be getting another Spirit Leech go down on the War Dancers as well. In fact, maybe a Fated Buna. A Fated Buna on the War Dancers. A very expensive spell, but that should enable the Night Goblins and Orc Biggins to actually beat them in melee. Azag the Slaughterer is simply trying to keep his distance away. Forest Goblin... not Forest Goblins. Forest Dragons are diving down on the Goblins. My god, imagine a Forest Goblin this size. But they dive down on the Goblins, which isn't going to be their best pick because there's a load of Skirmish Cavalry shooting them in the rear, which I'm not going to be enjoying it too much whatsoever. Eternal Guard do receive a rather nasty rear charge. Greenskin player done good use of his cavalry so far, whipping them up and around the spears and hammering into the rear of the enemy. They do need to pop into this middle formation, however, because the Orc Biggins are starting to struggle pretty bad, despite Azag's hard armor. In this other central pocket, though, the Greenskins have won this engagement. A load of arrows are flying in after the Spellweaver, who's currently popped the Opal Amulet, and her Dragons need to get up in the skies once more again to do their bodyguard duty, as Azag may come sniffing around. She does pop Loic's Blessing, trying to increase the speed of the Dragon up to 100 speed, but 110 on Azag does mean, with a relatively okay micro, he should be able to escape and not really ever engage the Forest Dragon. Just as I say that, he's going to turn and fight him, isn't he? Which isn't... Oh no, they both kind of back away. This is understandable because there's a lot of archer support here against this Dragon, who is coming with a breath attack. It's going down on the Death Creepers, doing some mediocre damage, nothing too much. Then a rather spread out formation. Now, the poor War Dancers, they get forced back. They had the rather nasty Fated Buna on them, but the second unit is up to 45 kills, and that is rising rapidly as they do carve away the little Goblins. And look at the blood fly as these blades do twirl a dance of death. The Orc Biggins, they're tough, but they're not that tough. And the Forest Dragon's going to come down just to help assist a little bit more as well. We do have Apotheosis from the Spellweaver, so there is always an opportunity that's going to come down. In fact, just as I say that, Apotheosis is popped, keeping those Dragons a little bit more healthy. Greenskins have dominated this left-hand flank, however, of the Wood Elves. War Dancers getting butchered in their sleep as the Orc Boy Biggins, which a mouthful there, do come in and slaughter them. And now they can start flooding over to try to drag down the remainder of the infantry. But on the other side, the cavalry got pinned in and dragged down by Eternal Guard. This is certainly a fight they don't want to be taken unsupported. We have more Goblins coming in, and it looks like a lot of the Skirmish Cav for the Wood Elves is actually started to go down. They're getting nice and aggressive. They're relatively low on ammunition, so they're trying to force back the Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And hey, if your Glade Riders are getting shot rather than your Dragons, it's probably a good trade. We still have some Orc Biggins here, who can probably, Orc Boar Boys, who can move in to help deal with the Glade Riders. Azag the Slaughterer, relatively healthy in the later stages of the game, but so are the Double Dragon, who are feasting on Goblin tonight. War Dancers up to 95 kills, really hacking into these Gobbos now, and they're supported by the might of the forest. The Orc Boar Boys are moving in. They've got decent mass as well. They might be able to surround and pin in some of these Dragons. Loic's Blessing goes down, not only giving these guys stalking unspottable with extra speed, so hopefully allow them to get into the sky a little bit quicker. However, this Dragon is getting pinned in now. The Orc Boar Boys are here, and they are ready for a big old fat scrap. Unfortunately, the Dragon is going to be able to escape, moving elegantly aside, falling back behind the War Dancers. Really good micro there by the Wood Elf player. And we do have this resurgence of infantry coming back. 3 units of Eternal Guard plus the Dryads, and the Greenskins, how their infantry force is doing, not too great. We have Orc Biggins dotted around the battlefield who can come back. The Doom Diver Catapult is out of its crew, unfortunately, at the moment, so it mainly is the cavalry. I mean, Azag the Slaughterer not doing too bad, but he's finding himself in a bit of a sandwich up in the skies. He popped his hard armor and was trying to go to work with this Forest Dragon. Unfortunately, Hand of Glory has gone down, buffing its stats greatly, and that is a 3-on-1 sandwich. Azag needs to get out of here, and you can see he's desperately trying to as quickly as possible. Foe Seeker is popped, and he just about squirms to freedom, but for the first time in the battle, the balance of power is is in favor now of the Wood Elves, and Azek just simply cannot afford to fight these dragons. So he's going to get a nice fight against the Spellweaver, which he probably does want to take. The Spider Riders getting jumped here by the dragons. That's going to be the end of their tail. It looks like only this one unit is still holding firm up against the Eternal Guard. Goblins are getting surrounded and butchered. Orc Biggins are trying to form some form of line as the Orc Boar Boys do swoop around the back. We still have quite a few units of cavalry chasing away Glade Riders. They need to come back and start rear attacking and supporting their ground troops. Otherwise, it will be all over for the Greenies. And Azag is escorted gently off the field by the Spellweaver of High Magic. And with that, I don't think there's any chance for the Green Boys to get back into this one. We still have a decent amount of cavalry, but there's a bucket load of spears left on the field, and the double Forest Dragon Gambit paying dividends once again. The War Dancers as well have done a fantastic job, despite one of them getting clipped early on by the Fata Buna. The other unit is up to 145 kills. Crazy stuff. And it looks like the Greenskin forces, their back has been broken, and they're getting forced off the battlefield. Very well played. A Pyrrhic victory indeed. Lots of death and carnage on both sides, but I do think it's currently put up a very good display there, and usage of the double Forest Dragon, and he's a man of class and culture, of course, coming in without bringing the Sisters of Twilight. I do love the Sisters of Twilight, but up against the Greenskins, it is so annoying, and you see it kind of all the time, to bring in a nice, unique build. And likewise, so did his opponent. I'm not going to list out his name again, but Azak the Slaughterer is a pretty cool picker as well. I do like the usage of all the cavalry and the cheeky Goblin Doom Diver Catapult. If you're going to use them, though, I do recommend bringing multiple, because arrows of Colonels and stuff, and the amount of range potential and snipe potential what else bring is pretty damn scary. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Once again, it's Kanye is a YouTuber. Make sure to go check him out. There's a load of cool Total War Warhammer content. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe. We're very close to hitting our goal of 7,000 subscribers, which is pretty damn cool. Feel free to comment down below as well. And there's a load of links in the description to Twitch, Discord, and another, so all kind of different tools and stuff for you to use and resources. But let's go back to the battle. So well played once again to Mr. It's Current Year, his rather tropical name. The Spellweaver of High Magic got to just shy of 1,500 damage value and 36 kills. One thing I really liked about its current year's performance, he used the Spellweaver aggressively in combination with the Forest Dragons to help drag down Azag. And the cool thing is, you can see he had this little plan before he had built the rest of his build, with both of the Forest Dragons being picked next. 1,252 damage value and 105 kills, and then just shy of 2,000 value and 83 kills, both of which still had plenty of room to be healed up by Apotheosis in the later stages of the game. Over 11k damage dealt and 8,000 damage dealt. Really good display by the Forest Dragons, who are probably my favorite thematically. Like visually, as dragons, they are really awesome. The antlers from their head with like the moss dripping down. It's very cool stuff. Now, the Eternal Guard did not do too well. 400 value and 74. 345 and 557 for the Unshielded variety fared a little bit better. The Dryads also got crumped. How did the War Dancers do? Well, 284 damage value is not great, but the other unit, 850 with 146 kills. They certainly carved their way through a huge number of Greenskins. Blade Riders, 300 value, 740 and 583. Not bad whatsoever. Kept the enemy skirmish busy and away from those lovely dragons. As for the Greenskins, Azak the Slaughterer, 1,441 damage value and 38 kills. Not bad considering how outmatched he was in the air game, though he was quicker than them. Still going 1 versus 3 is never going to go well for anyone really, particularly more of a hybrid caster melee lord than a out-and-out specialist. Gobbos just died. I mean, it's what Gobbos do, but they did move around the flanks and get some stabbing in there, of 260 damage value being the highlight for them. Only 157 onto 8 peak loons. I love that breath attack coming in, basically ensuring that they weren't going to be able to use their loonies, because when they move into combat, they then have to charge them up, and they lose even more models, and they lose the ability to use those glorious Wrecking Balls of Carnage. Orc Biggins got 34, 77 and 26 kills, 500 value, 875 and 300, a bit of a mixed bag. As for the Orc Boar Boys, 60 kills and 45, 740 value and 544. Orc Boar Boy Biggins, however, the more elite troops kind of struggled, 385 value and 460, 67 and 30 kills apiece. Forest Goblin Spider Riders, 679, 535 and 741 damage value. They tried their best to keep them on the dragons where possible, and whenever they were doing some really awesome work. However, the good play by the Glade Riders did render them slightly more ineffective than they would have been at least. Doom Diver Catapult 666. They've been praying to Gork and Mork and all of the devils of the world for victory, and it looks like it did indeed pay off. 41 kills, applying a nice bit of pressure to the Wood Elf forces. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.